Okay, so I want to show people something about gang stalking now. This is my footage. This is targeting that I go through when I get gang stalked. It's been happening every single day for a while now, and I've noticed that gang stalking usually occurs in sets of threes, meaning assignments, three or more. And this is sort of an attack, or it's meant to be an attack. It depends on the way it's been intercepted by the individual. But this is meant to be an attack on an individual, spiritually and definitely psychologically. Psychological harm is very serious. Harming somebody's mind is a big deal. And the gang stalking assignments are intended to greatly harm an individual's mind. I'm going to show a little bit here about how this happens in plain sight. Through people doing these assignments, these stalking groups. An individual can be trailed and followed, across the city, and there will be several types of things set up. So they see it, they know it's there, they're living through it, but the public is meant to believe that it's not happening. So you got people walking around literally being group stalked on a massive scale. Then you got a lot of people saying that this isn't real. So I'm going to show a little bit about what an individual is seeing when they're being gang stalked. Now we start off on the corner. See, there's a black truck that goes by. That's a black truck that goes by. With gang stalking, when it comes to colors, it's usually black and red, but black and white is used greatly too. And again, these are colors that are being used to follow somebody in a pattern, to group stalk them in a pattern, and they're trying to develop a communication with the person's mind, psychologically. They're trying to communicate an attack to your mind. Now you see the black truck. A white car pulls up on the corner, then a black van. This is the same black van. It looks identical. It must be. I'm going to look back into it later on, but this is the same van I've seen in other footage on the same video I was recording that day. The same black van was following me after this. There's going to be another intersection we go through, and it'll be this same black van doing assignments with another group of cars. Now you see the white car coming with the lights. Do they have the lights on? And we just saw that. Now you're going to see another white and black car, SUV type car with the lights on. Both of them had the lights on. So that was like the black and white color coding. And the brightening effect was used on the second the second street we crossed. It looked like they were using them. Yeah, let me go back. I'm tripping. Let me go back. Yeah, it didn't look like the truck had their lights on. They didn't have their lights on either. But the white car did, okay. Do they? No, they did. Let me see. No, didn't look like it. So they were using the white and black color coding, but they didn't have their brights on. But now when we pull up here, it's the black and white car with the brights on, with the headlights on. And that really wasn't a strong example of gang stalking, not as strong as it should have been. There's other clips that I have on this same video where you can see much more clear examples. But again, this is something you're constantly going through 24/7, and the way it's orchestrated, sometimes cars pull off quicker. Sometimes the people doing it, they're asked to do it in a certain way, like just drive down the street. So their assignment isn't to wear a certain color shirt or to be representative of a deeper meaning. Their job is just to drive. So they're not going to spend too much time trying to be noticed or hang out. They're just driving by with a certain color car. But if the individual is meant to be doing something more, like if they're meant to drive by and look at you or something, then there'll be more emphasis on the assignment altogether. They'll slow the car down. There may be people on the street participating in a street theater. The gang stalking, group stalking orchestrations vary depending on the details of the assignments that the individuals are getting to do it, and how much emphasis is putting on the meaning of that course of assignments. See the truck with the lights on, they just... and when I see stuff like that, like the truck with the lights on, something like that, I say, okay, it's another car with their lights on, it's a truck, they're participating in the overall group stalking, but it's very easily dismissible as being just a coincidence. So I don't really take too much time to break it down. That's a car. No, they didn't turn. See, like right here, you don't see too much activity. That car turned. That car they knew I was going to turn on this street. Or that you see how they came? Let me go back. What exactly am I seeing here? They pull out. I filmed this earlier. I went over this earlier. Yeah, I'm gonna get into this one right here. Okay, so I'm turning on the street. Now I'm in the passenger side, of course. But as we're turning on the street, and that's a car with the brights on right there. Another car with their brights on. That's that same, is that the same van? No. It might be. And that's one of the things about the people who, when the people are doing these gang stalking assignments, they get to use different cars. And these cars aren't going to be under their name. Most of the time they're not going to be in their name. And, they get to rent cars, people, let them use cars. And they get shown on their phone where to go, where to drive. to do the gang stalking assignments. So they look at their group stalking somebody. You got like an individual or a few individuals who are going through a series of stalking an individual, and they're driving in different cars. Every single day or several times a day, they'll be in different cars, and they'll use the technology, through a cell phone app, to know where to go. So the person that's being targeted by the gang stalking is at a great disadvantage. You got people who are changing cars and using cell phone apps that show them where specifically to go to gang stalk somebody. I mean, look at that. It's like literally, like they said, it's like gang stalking on steroids. The person doesn't even have to do any work. All they got to do is just drive. And they can just stalk somebody 24/7 and get paid to do it. It's crazy. Yeah, more brightening. This guy's wearing red and black. And then another thing with gang stalking is when you're walking or driving somewhere, a lot of times there's things that are naturally there. There's cars that are naturally in a certain place. There's people who are naturally there already. They didn't go there specifically because you were being gang stalked. They went there naturally already, and so the gang stalking will incorporate that. They'll say they see a red car parked out on the street. Well, they didn't have anything. They might not have had anything to do with that. But then they'll just get somebody with a black car to drive past the red car that's already parked on the street at the certain time, and that'll incorporate the color coding, the black and the red assignment. So I think they look for that advantage to look to use what's already in the area. If somebody's already in a red car parked on the street, well, all we have to do is just get, a black car, and we can turn that into a black and red color coding assignment. Free. We don't have to get anybody else involved. We don't have to do anything. We can just freely turn it into that. And so there's a lot of that going on. A lot of the gang stalking is just a manipulation of what's already in the environment to make it seem as if there's more people involved, or it's, heavier than what it is. Like, so you see a black car right there. That red car was probably already parked out there. See? I'm going to go back a little bit further. That's a red car parked out there. So if somebody's being gang stalked, such as myself, when I turn, I'm going to see the brights, then I see the red car, then there's somebody walking, red on the shirt, white, and black. You know what? Go back a little bit. Okay. So there's a white car right there. Then there's a red car in front of the car with the brights. And you got somebody running wearing white, black, and red. That's interesting. The van, people who get gang stalked notice vans a lot. The phenomenon of the white vans. Then two red, a red car, a red truck, and a red car right when I got down there to the end. white, black, white and black car. Is that the same van? Hold up, let me. Bright, bright. Black, black, or darker color, maybe not black. That van, was that the same? I don't think it is, but it might have been the same van from when I started back earlier. Yeah, I think it was. Then another point to be added again is when an individual goes out into the world who's going through gang stalking, they've already been, they may have been having electronic weapons used on them. While they're in their house, other individuals can actually use radiation weapons and electronic weapons on them when they're sleeping or awake. They may have had their food drugged, covertly drugged at a restaurant. People are following them everywhere, wearing red and black and brightening and stuff. And you see, it's just a very, very, very attacked way of living. There's individuals basically financing an individual to be stalked and attacked 24/7. And then at the end of it, they try to make it look like there's something wrong with the person. That's the tripped out part about it. All this stuff happens to somebody, and then at the end of it, they try to put it off on the person and make it seem like there's something wrong with them. Incredible.